I'd like to thank each and every one of you who's here today, standing together in solidarity with Ukraine. This is amazing to see so many people. Thank you. It has been 3 years since Russia launched its full-scale invasion, and 11 years since Russia invaded and illegally occupied Ukraine's Crimea and Donbas regions. As we gather on this solemn anniversary, we remember the tens of thousands of Ukrainians who have lost their lives and who have courageously and heroically defended their country and the freedom of Europe from Russia's genocidal war. For years, the Kremlin and its apologists have spread lies, calling it a civil war, delegitimizing Ukraine's democratically elected leaders, spreading lies about corruption, and blaming the war on the West. Russia's illegal occupation and its destruction of Ukraine and the rules-based international order is a clear threat to all democracies around the world. For centuries, Russia has sought to erase Ukraine, to crush the Ukrainian language, the Ukrainian culture, and Ukraine's very identity. Today, they continue this brutal campaign. Russia thought that they were embarking on a war of conquest that would last 3 days. Instead, 3 years later, Ukraine stands. Kyiv, the capital, is free, and the Ukrainian people stand united in defiance to Russian tyranny, and we stand with Ukraine. We must be absolutely clear. Russia will not stop unless it is defeated. Russia must be brought to justice. There is no peace without Ukraine's victory. Ukraine must restore its internationally recognized borders. This is Ukraine's right. It's enshrined in the United Nations Charter. The tyrants, Putin, and now, I so boldly say Trump, is also a tyrant, cannot be allowed to redraw borders by force or pressure Ukraine to surrender. Trump cannot be allowed to blackmail Ukraine into signing over its natural resources, nor should Elon Musk be allowed to threaten to cut off Starlink to Ukraine. We must never allow lawlessness and brutality prevail. There can be no compromise with genocide. Canada's Parliament has unanimously recognized that the Russian Federation is committing acts of genocide against the Ukrainian people. In Ukrainian cities and towns under occupation, Russia tortures and executes Ukrainian civilians. Russian soldiers are raping Ukrainian women and children. Russia is abducting Ukrainian children and forcing them into re-education camps. Russia is trying to erase the Ukrainian identity and culture of a generation of Ukrainian children. While Ukrainian authorities have been able to identify over 20,000 children that have been stolen by Russia, the total number is far, far higher. Ukraine has documented over 156,000 war crimes and crimes of aggression that have been committed by Russia since February 24th, 2022. This is not a conflict where deals can be made. You cannot negotiate with someone who wants to destroy you. For Ukrainians, this is a matter of life or death, and they have made a choice. They choose to live, they choose to fight, they choose freedom, and we are standing here in solidarity with them. It's crystal clear that we can no longer depend on the United States as a reliable ally or partner. Trump has betrayed Ukraine, and in the last several days, we've seen the progression. He has betrayed Ukraine, he's betrayed Canada, and he has betrayed the rest of the democratic world. It is critically important that Canadian and EU leaders quickly develop a united path forward. Canada must begin to dedicate the necessary resources both to protect ourselves and to help Ukraine to defend the freedom of Europe. Anything short of Ukrainian victory is inviting further invasion from Ukraine, but this time into NATO countries, which will then require Canadians to put boots on the ground to defend our NATO allies. We have to really think about that and let that sit. Ukraine needs more weapons and far more economic support than we have provided for them to win this war. The only way this war will end is with victory for Ukraine. I'd like to leave you with an excerpt from a recent article that was written by the editor-in-chief of the Kyiv Independent, Olha Rudenko. She writes, "I know the resilience of the Ukrainian people, the special internal strength that comes with the centuries of defying the odds, of surviving despite the forces that seek to eliminate you. I feel it in myself and in everyone around me, both in native Ukrainians and our allies. That strength is something no one can take from us, not even two of the most powerful leaders in the world working together. Presidents and leaders can try to sell us out, either for personal gains or out of sheer cowardice. But I know that there are many millions of people around the world who stand with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini! Glory to Ukraine! Glory to the heroes!"